I'm meteorologist Carly Gomez with your weather impacts that we'll be facing ahead this week. We are looking at much cooler temperatures already out there with temps today in the 70s, and moving into early this week we'll also see 70-degree temperatures, but also looking at some shower chances. We do have a very slight chance to see showers on Monday, but that'll be early in the overnight, early morning hours of Monday. And the chance at this point in time is about 20 to 30% chance, but a much better chance for us as we move into Wednesday, more widespread. The major cool down continues into Monday as we'll be looking at temperatures dropping down into the low 70s. On and off shower chances are also possible again, mostly for that Wednesday with slick roads ahead. So please be careful out there. Take it nice and slow, especially in that early morning commute on Wednesday. Now, taking a look at the highs for Sunday, we saw mid to upper 70s out there, 79 in Stockton with 80 in Marysville, 81 in Oroville, and 85 degrees in Modesto. Those mid to low 70s in the foothills with 60s up high in the Sierra. Look at the 24-hour temperature difference, anywhere from 8 to 15 degrees cooler than just the day prior into Saturday. Now, within just last hour or so, closer to about 6:37 p.m., we saw some of these numbers around 15 to 18 degrees cooler. So definitely feeling that change in temperature pretty quickly out there for the valley, the foothills, and the Sierra. The peak wind gusts reaching almost 40 miles per hour for South Lake Tahoe, 32 in Fairfield, about 38 mile per hour wind gusts in Stockton with 23 in Modesto, much stronger gusts through the Tracy Triangle there with really just averaging about 25 to 35 mile per hour gusts across our valley spots. Now, as we take a look at that trough moving in overhead, that has brought in some wet weather for the Pacific Northwest and moved its way into Northern California throughout the afternoon hours, even creating some thunderstorms and special weather statements that have been issued for areas like Tehama County, where they saw half-inch sized hail, as well as some thunderstorms and some heavy downpours along with those strong wind gusts. Now that low will continue to churn around and move its way into areas of the northeast, bringing in more of those showers into areas of Idaho as we start moving into Monday. But with it, a lot of the strong gusts continue to flow in from the onshore winds, continuing to bring in those windy conditions overnight. Not quite as gusty, but at least more breezy. As we start moving into Monday, though, things will slow down. Now, we do have a winter weather advisory. This has only been issued, though, for the Yosemite area, and that is until Monday, 5 p.m. The very tip-top areas, 7,000 to 8,000 feet, could see some small flurries, but also very just slick roads in that area. And of course, not a very safe spot to be in when we're dealing with that kind of weather conditions, especially as we move from Sunday to Monday here. We are going to be looking at much cooler temperatures, especially at those higher elevations. Now, the wind gusts moving into Monday do definitely slow down for us. Much better, less breezy, about 10 mile per hour winds on average there. As we look closer to about 8 p.m. over the Sierra Crest, much slower as well. So better, and we're not looking at so much an elevated fire concern, especially as now we're getting the humidity levels rising, the wind gusts slowing down, and much cooler temperatures ahead. We'll also be dealing with a very similar scenario for ourselves on Tuesday, so much calmer as we start to see this trough moving through. It's finally going to see those winds stopping. Now let's take a look at Monday. We do have that trough that moves in. It's the one that's brought us those strong wind gusts today. But what we're going to also see is that most of those showers that we could see are going to stay mostly north of I-80. Now, maybe a slight chance for some Bay Area spots to get a few sprinkles, but otherwise, again, it's about a 30% chance to see some showers on Monday. Mostly cloudy skies. Tuesday, actually looking at some sunshine briefly in between these two systems. And then Wednesday, we kind of got it coming in here from the inside. And that could bring us more widespread chances for showers across areas of the valley, into the foothills and the high Sierra. Now, we're still not looking at a whole lot of rain, but just enough to kind of make things wet and damp around. Could create some slick roads, especially where there may be oil. So again, please take it nice and slow. Moving toward the next following weekend and into that following Monday, we're looking at a big ridge building. So we're done with all that wet weather. The ridge builds right back into place. You get warmer temperatures across the region. And as we kick off the first day of fall, we'll be looking at temperatures in the 90s. So yeah, unfortunately, we're kind of back to that old game that we've been playing back and forth with the hot and cold, at least until we start actually getting into those more fall-like months. Now, as we take a look here into Monday, we still have a lot of cloud coverage overhead. So as we get into the morning hours, it's still going to start your morning off a little gloomy out there. We'll get some mixes of sunshine by the afternoon, evening, Most of it will be gone as we get into the afternoon, but you're still looking at a few spotty areas, especially near Yosemite, where we'll be looking at potential to see some showers, maybe even some light flurries up high. Otherwise, everything in the valley does calm down. Finally, moving into Tuesday, mostly clear skies, some mostly sunny conditions, and then here's where we start to see our first look at some showers moving in 5 a.m. A lot of that is going to be north of Sacramento. So if you're north of there, anywhere from Marysville, Yuba City, all the way up, you're going to get hit pretty hard, especially if you have to take I-5. You'll be getting some decent rainfall. Then as we move into the valley, as it circulates in by 11 a.m., some more solid rain into Sacramento, areas up into maybe Auburn as well. Could see some of that rain. Roseville, Citrus Heights, Arden Arcade. So we're starting to get some of that rain there around Sacramento. A little further south, though, our friends in Stockton and Modesto may actually miss out on some of that rain altogether. So maybe a quick little sprinkle here and there, but most of it, again, is going to be north on Wednesday of US 50. Then as we get into the afternoon, another chance of it pushes over toward Fairfield and Vacaville by around 8 p.m. or so, with a little bit more of that sprinkle action happening for the High Sierra. Now take a look at our precipitation forecast. How much rain could we see? It's really not a whole lot. Again, if you are going to be north of Sacramento, areas like Yuba City north could get as much as 1/4 of an inch, but most people will be getting 1/100th of an inch to maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain. So again, not going to be a lot, but just enough to dampen the roadways. 1/2 inch to maybe an inch of rain up high in the Sierra. All right, let's take a look at what we can expect temperature-wise into Monday. The coolest day of the week is Monday. We'll be looking at our temps even dropping off into the mid-60s for Groveland, upper 60s Sonora and Angels Camp, with temperatures overnight dropping into the mid-40s. So definitely a little chilly in the overnight. 74 in Ione, 53 in Truckee for the high. Bay Area mid to upper 60s from San Francisco to Oakland, with about 74 degrees in Vacaville, 73 in Rio Vista. The Sacramento and San Joaquin Valley spots looking at those mid to low 70s. So we could even hit just upper 60s for some areas, but mostly right around 71 degrees should be the cooler temperature, as well as El Dorado Hills there, 74 Yuba City, 73 in Davis. And then finally, looking at our 3-day forecast, we are going to see, again, a very slight chance for some showers, but it's going to be more or less, even if anything comes in, a sprinkle on Monday. We are not going to issue a weather impact day for Monday because it's going to be pretty much non-existent. So we're just warning you that there may be a sprinkle. Otherwise, Tuesday, some sunshine. Wednesday is going to be our better weather impact alert day for slick roads out there. There will be enough rain at that point to create some hazards. Moving into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that gradual increase in temperature into the mid to upper 80s and low 90s by Sunday. That's the first day of fall. Then our temperatures kind of go back and forth between the mid to low 90s into next week.